So I have a couple Les Pauls, 4 to be exact. Let me put these down before I break all of them. Well, now that I put all those down, honestly that was probably the most difficult shot I've ever had for this YouTube channel. But if you guys have seen the title of this video, I am selling one of my Les Pauls. But which one? Well, unfortunately, I do have to get rid of the newest Les Paul to my collection, and that is this, the Epiphone 2008 Custom Shop / Les Paul, in the Victoria colorway, as you can see. Well, before I get into the reasons of why I'm selling this guitar, let me first talk about how I got my hands on this guitar. Well, it all started a couple years ago. It was my sophomore year of high school whenever I got my first job working at a horse racetrack. I actually still work there every summer. But I already had a couple guitars at the time and I wanted to get my first real tube amp. So I saved up all my money and got a Marshall JCM 900 amp. And after a few months of owning, I just kind of realized that it wasn't really the amp for me, so I listed it on Facebook Marketplace and it just kind of sat there for months. And then months turned into years, and eventually some guy messaged me offering a trade for a Jet City 100-watt amplifier with a few modifications to it, as well as this this Les Paul here. And as I said, this is the 2008 Epiphone Custom Shop / model. And honestly, I really like this guitar here. So what is this guitar? Well, like I said, it's made in the custom shop of Epiphone. So basically, back in 2008 and those years around there, they didn't mass produce the / model Les Pauls. These were a very limited run. So yes, there are a couple on reverb. They're not very common. And they are also pretty pricey for an Epiphone. Well, actually, nowadays, these Epiphones are getting pretty expensive, but for an Epiphone of this time frame, it's really expensive. What makes this guitar so special to me is just how well it plays. I mentioned this several times that if I was handed this guitar blindfolded, I would honestly think that this is Gibson. This does not feel like an Epiphone. A lot of Epiphones just feel cheaper. And if you compare this to a Gibson, they feel almost identical, minus the fact that these, of course it's an Epiphone, does not have fret nibs. But that goes to show the quality of this instrument. Maybe it's just this one specifically, maybe I got the opposite of a lemon, but what can I say? This guitar plays fantastic. The action is really short, it's very easy to play. And I do have like a full documented review of this guitar here on my YouTube channel, which I'll link down in the description below, in which I talk about the electronics, I talk about everything about this guitar, the history a little bit more, but this is just kind of a quick summary. The pickups used in this guitar are really nice, especially for how expensive it is, or inexpensive that is. And even when I compare it to my 1979 Gibson Les Paul Custom, they sound pretty comparable. Now, of course, they have different sounds. This one's a little bit more so tailored towards a little bit higher gain, Guns N' Roses, rock and roll kind of stuff. Well, that one, those old T-tops aren't necessarily made for that. It's made for a little bit less toned down kind of music, I guess. Both guitars obviously sound great, but whenever you compare the two in price, these ones for the money, way better pickups. The number one downside of this guitar here is the electronics used. And this is a very common issue with the Epiphones of this time, is that they made pretty great guitars, but the electronics were just really cheap garbage, to be frank. And this guitar really isn't an exception, but if you pair it with these fantastic humbuckers right here, you get rid of those old electronics, you place some new stuff, and this is a absolute ripper of a guitar. And like I said, I really like this thing. And I will have a sound demo so you guys can hear what this guitar sounds like in a moment. Actually, right now. Well, how do you guys think this thing sounds? Leave a like in this video if you liked how it sounded. So why am I selling it? Well, there's a multitude of reasons why I'm selling this guitar here. And probably the number one reason why I'm selling this guitar is I just don't really play it. Right now I'm in college, so I don't have access to every single one of the guitars in my collection. And unlike my other Epiphone Les Paul over there, I have a very close personal connection to that guitar that I just don't have with this one. So me not playing this guitar, not being able to play this guitar, does play a huge factor of why I'm selling it. Like I said, this guitar plays fantastically, and it deserves to be played. This guitar should not just be a wall piece, because it's so much more than that. So being about 5 hours away from my college to home, where I am right now, I'm on Christmas break, it's just all the more reason of why I should get rid of this guitar. I should give it to someone who is going to love it and appreciate it for what it is. Another reason why I'm selling this guitar is just that I have better guitars. And again, this isn't a knock towards this guitar. But when I compare it to this guitar here, this is my Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s model with the P90s, of course. This is just objectively a better guitar. This guitar here is about triple the price. Now, yeah, that obviously doesn't make it a better guitar necessarily, but it does have those made in USA parts that also make it better. This is just a little bit more playable. Again, this one's still very playable, but it's not really a fair comparison because, like I said, it costs 3 times as much. Though yes, these guitars do have different jobs they do. This one has humbuckers, this one has P90s. They have a different sound. That doesn't mean I don't have other guitars that are better guitars that also just do the same thing. But in my opinion, a little bit better. And the final reason of why I'm selling this guitar, and probably also another one of the biggest reasons, is that I need money to buy another guitar. Right now, I think I have 12 guitars in my collection, and that's probably too much for me. That's not true. I need more. I need way more. But in the financial situation that I'm in, I cannot afford just to keep buying new guitars and not get rid of the existing ones. So unfortunately, this is the first one on the chopping block, I guess you could say, to fund the next guitar. But what guitar am I getting? If you guys aren't new to this channel, you already know what I'm going to say. But if you guys are new, I am saving up for a Fender Telecaster. Now, no, I do not have an exact Telecaster that I'm going to buy. My eyes are still open looking for new ones, or new ones to me. But at least having the money on hand in case I do come across one that I really, really like is obviously a good thing. That way I don't have to scramble for money and then risk having it be sold. That actually happened over Thanksgiving. There was a Telecaster that I really, really liked and would have bought if it just would have made a little bit more financial sense. Could I have afforded it? Yeah, but it probably wouldn't have been the smartest idea financially. Which is why selling this guitar is going to help fund that next one. So subscribe if you guys are excited to see the next guitar I get. So not only is this guitar for sale, but actually I did receive an offer the first day that I listed it. Now I have not heard from this person in about a day, which is normal, I guess. But if you guys check in a couple days and it's still in reverb, that probably means they either didn't message me back or the deal fell through. So if it's still on reverb in a couple days, feel free to shoot an offer. It is the cheapest one on reverb, and that's just because it doesn't come with any of the case candy. Whenever I got this guitar in the trade, it didn't come with the original case, didn't come with the cool strap, didn't come with the certificate of authenticity or anything like that. It's just the guitar that came with it. So for that reason, it's listed significantly cheaper than all the other ones. Okay, maybe not significantly cheaper, but it is the cheapest one. So like I said, if it's there in a couple days, feel free to shoot an offer. But that basically wraps it up for this video. Am I going to miss this guitar? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. It's one of those things where you don't know if you're going to miss it until it's gone. But for the reasons of why I'm selling it, I'm not too sure I would. Like I said, I have better guitars. I don't really get the chance to play this one because I'm never home anymore. So I do think it's best that it goes to a better home than mine. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, feel free to click like. And if you loved it and you want to see more content from me, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. So I have a couple Les Pauls.